Gunrunner 7271. Let's talk about foraging and looting. Foraging is what you do when you're trying to go out and gather supplies. Okay? Foraging does not mean that you deprive someone else of their personal property. Foraging is when someone has abandoned their property, abandoned their vehicle, abandoned their store. Looting, on the other hand, is when you are depriving someone of their property that they may need, and you have other means to get what you need. Looting would be going to a store, a big box store, and taking out the big screen TVs or a deep freeze when you know there's no power. That's the difference between looting and foraging. Foraging's when you're going through an empty house looking for, clearly empty house, looking for canned goods, dry goods, medicine, blankets, clothes, that sort of stuff. Looting's when you break in someone's house at gunpoint, not knowing whether they're going to be home or not home, and not caring whether they're going to be home or not home. Not caring whether they need the stuff or don't need the stuff. Clearly, foraging makes you creative, and clearly, foraging may become necessary in a raw situation. You would need 100,000 square foot warehouse to keep everything you would need for a year for a family of 4. It's a lot of stuff, and you need a lot of storage space to properly store food, water, fuel, an armory with said ammo, that sort of stuff. I'm not going to go out as a forager and deprive anyone of their life because I need to eat. I'd rather eat grass and tree bark or whatever first than deprive someone of their life in the process. Foraging comes with some inherent dangers. You will not be the only person out there foraging. Chance favors the prepared mind. Places like junkyards. Know where your local pharmacy is. Know where a local junkyard is. Know where your neighbor's boats are. Know where your boat's at. Know where storage facilities are. Great place to forage, because no one's really coming back for the stuff, and there's a lot of boats and RVs stored there. Unfortunately, the RVs are wasted there because people aren't going to have time or the thought process to go get their RV and take it to where they need to go. Personally, we keep an RV at the house for the in-laws, so those kinds of things you need to weigh pretty heavily and know where those are. Know how fast you can get to them, because there's all sorts of boats, hot rods, buggies, ATVs stored in storage yards and storage facilities. So that's important to know. Pharmacies, more importantly, veterinarians. Veterinarians stockpile pain-killing drugs, they stockpile antibiotics, they stockpile just about everything you need. Surely, when you're foraging, you shouldn't be looking for narcotics. You should be looking for the following types of things: insulin, why insulin? If I'm not a diabetic, I am a diabetic, but if I'm not a diabetic, why would I be trying to find diabetic supplies? And don't just get the insulin, get the supplies too. Because someone in your group may be a diabetic and could use that insulin. Someone in another group could be a diabetic and could use the insulin. It's important that you also, when you're out foraging, gather bartering materials so that you can barter with other groups. Okay? That's important. Penicillin, amoxicillin, all the antibiotics you can grab. You can never have enough antibiotics. It's impossible to have enough antibiotics. Okay? Painkillers such as well, start with the over-the-counter stuff. Aleve, ibuprofen, Tylenol, and get the Tylenol that is recommended for children as well. Like I say, everything could have a purpose in the end. You may not have a child, but there may be a child on the way. Forgive the bumpy ride. We're in Kettering, Ohio today. You may have a child on the way. Someone may be pregnant. You may have a child in a group that's outside your own, and they may want to barter for it. These are all things that you should sit down and consider now. And why consider them now? Because if you consider them now and actually write them down and have a protocol for what happens when there is an event, you won't be caught off guard in the hubbub when you do have that event. Put it down. Be very, very dry. Do it now while your emotions are taking it completely out of it. Get creative. People say that I think out of the box a lot. I've been to third world countries, and you either think out of the box as a civilized man or a person. You either think outside the box or you die. So yes, I do think outside the box, and yes, I do lots of scenario planning in my head. Even, activities such as fun activities when I'm not prepping. I think of things that can be converted to a good prepping activity. While it's impossible if you have kids to prep all the time, it is important that you be mind focused on different situational awareness, I guess is the proper term. And when you get your situational awareness going, your kids, and you develop that with your kids, no, we can't go over there because, that looks dangerous over there. Your kids start to think about it. Got to think all this stuff now and practice it now before it hits you face to face. So, hey guys, this is me just rambling thoughts. I'm getting ready to start my series on foraging. I'm actually starting to do some product testing. I originally thought I could get this all in one backpack, but I think we're going to be very mission specific on our foraging due to it's hard to carry a jerry can and a pump, or it's hard to carry a saw for cutting up lumber, and why carry a pump to pump gas when you're going into the woods to saw wood. So that's I think we're going to be specific in our packs. As with anything, they'll include a set of bolt cutters and some steps to climb fences and some coating material to climb fences. Barbed wire fences, you need to put something over the barbed wire to keep you safe. Concertina, you need to know how to get through concertina without getting cut to ribbons. Those are all things that we need to possibly consider. because you know, when an SHTF happens, we're not going to be in the mindset, you know, to do these things on sheer. Once our sheer emotions take in, your adrenaline's going to be pumping. What I'm trying to preach to everyone that's in my group and in my extended family and friends is do it, prepare for it, do it, practice it, and hopefully it will become second nature to you. This is Gunrunner 7271. Stop the truck. So stay prepped, guys.